Good morning and howdy, everybody. Hope y'all had a good day and a good night, depending on what part of this world you're on. Hey, studying this morning, and you know what? I should have read Ecclesiastes to you before I read Song of Solomon to you because it kind of goes in order. I knew it, but I didn't even think about it. I don't think about much anymore. My thinker just done thinking. I was talking to Jenny on here earlier this morning and talking about me winking at y'all yesterday. One of y'all told me I needed to do that. And so I did yesterday, but I could only wink with my left eye. My right eye wouldn't wink. So I told Jenny I put some blinker fluid in both eyes, and I've been practicing winking my right eye. I don't know. I thought it was getting better, but it doesn't look like it. So I guess I need to put more blinker fluid in it. Winking fluid in it. Anyway, I was trying to make y'all happy. We started Song of Solomon yesterday, went through chapter 4. And y'all, Song of Solomon beat my record all to pieces on wives. Y'all know how many wives he had? His first wife was a maiden that was the daughter of a family that was his hired servants. And then after her, or not after her, but along with her, he had 699 more wives. Plus, that's not all. That's 700 wives, in case you don't know how to add 699 plus 1. Plus 300 concubines. How in the world did that guy have time to do any king duties? I guess with 1,000 women in your life, they can do a lot of it for you. Could you imagine all y'all in the United States doing your income tax every year and claiming 1,001 dependents? That's not counting any kids. That's just the women and the husband. Goodness gracious. 4 was too much for me. I almost did number 5. Texas has a limit on wives, or at least they used to. I assume they still do. That you couldn't get married more than 5 times. But it didn't stop people. After the 5th marriage, they just start living with whoever they wanted to after that. Not me. 5 times. In baseball, it's 3 strikes, you're out. Me, 4 strikes, I'm out. So I'm done. Unless God's got other plans, but shoot, I don't think so. All right. Song of Solomon has 8 chapters. I gave you 4 yesterday. I'm going to give you the other 4 today. We'll be done with Song of Solomon. And I think I'll probably back up to the chapter before next and give you Ecclesiastes. It's not real long. It's longer than Song of Solomon. It's 12 chapters. So that's probably what I'll do. But I don't know. No telling what I'll do. I don't even know what I'll do next. So y'all surely don't know. And after Song of Solomon is Isaiah. I got kind of excited when I saw that because I love Isaiah. I like all these. Song of Solomon and Ecclesiastes is good. All of them are good. And Ezekiel, just everything. And I wish I had time to talk about different parts of them, especially in Isaiah, because there's so much prophecy in Isaiah, and I think just about all of it's been done. Well, I know just about all of it's been done because just about all of it in the whole entire Bible has been done. There's not a whole lot left. And I'd like to talk about it as we went through, but it'd take me a year the way I start talking. All right, so, and this 4 short chapters are going to take me an hour if I don't shut up my rambling and flapping my jaws and winking my eyes and all that other foolishness and get started. Okay, chapter 5, Song of Solomon, the king with 1,000 women in his life. That boggles my mind, y'all. Goodness gracious. Surely they didn't all eat their meals at the same time. I cannot imagine a table big enough, except the table up in heaven, where we're going to very soon be having the wedding feast. Other than that table, I cannot imagine a table big enough for 1,001 people at one time. That many wives, that probably took shifts. Goodness gracious. And 1,000, well, it wouldn't be 1,000 beds. I guess it'd be 999 beds, because surely he wouldn't have 3 or 4 wives in bed with him at the same time. Okay. And what about toilets for 1,000 people? Goodness gracious. And 1,000 chariots. So they didn't have cars or buses or minivans or SUVs back then. I guess minivans are gone now, aren't they? I hadn't seen one in 100 years. Surely Solomon didn't make all of his women walk everywhere. Maybe they had limo chariots. I don't know. All right, chapter 5 of Song of Solomon. I am come into my garden, my sister, my spouse. Oh, now he's got a sister that's a spouse. I don't think he meant biological sister, but who knows? Maybe it was. I am come into my garden, my sister, my spouse. I have gathered my myrrh with my spice. I have eaten my honeycomb with my honey. I guess it's possible, but it sure be hard to eat honeycomb without your honey. Anyway, or maybe the honey he's talking about was one of his spouses. I don't know. I have eaten my honeycomb with my honey. I have drunk my wine with my milk. Ugh. Ugh. Any of y'all ever drink wine and milk together? I never have. Anyway, eat, O friends, drink ye, drink abundantly, O beloved. Yeah, I've never been much of a drinker, hardly at all. That's not something that interested me. But if I had 1,000 wives, I might be a heavy drinker. That's just me. Okay, now I forgot where I was at. And now my hands are shaking. Oh, there. Drink abundantly, O beloved. I sleep, but my heart waketh. If I had 1,000 wives, I don't think I'd ever sleep. And I for sure wouldn't drink wine with milk. Ugh. I sleep, but my heart waketh. It is the voice of my beloved that knocketh. Knocketh. I am. I come to your door and knocketh. But you didn't hear me because you had 1,000 wives in there with you. Do you ever go to your neighbor's house and knocketh, saying, "Open to me, my sister, my love, my dove, my undefiled, for my head is full of dew." I think his head is full of something else. How did dew get in his head anyway? He must have some holes in his head that I don't have. Or maybe I got dew in my head and didn't know it. Maybe that's what's putting me to sleep all the time. I don't know. And my locks with the drops of the night. I have put off my coat. How shall I put it on? Because you put it on the opposite of the way you took it off, Solomon. I have washed my feet. I don't ever do that. If they get washed in the shower, then they're clean. If they don't, they don't. I have washed my feet. How shall I defile them? By not washing them. My beloved put in his hand by the hole of the door, and my bowels removed for him. I'm not even going to comment on that. I rose up to open to my beloved, and my hands dropped with myrrh, and my fingers with sweet smelling myrrh upon the handles of the lock. I opened to my beloved, but my beloved had withdrawn himself and was gone. And poof, he was gone. I could sing y'all a song right there. But I've wasted so much time already. Y'all remember on Hee Haw? That country comedy back in the, I guess, the 70s? That song they'd sing, where are you tonight? Why'd you leave me here all alone? I searched the world over and thought I found true love. You found another and poof, you were gone. Except they'd go, you are gone. Well, that's what happened here, it sounds like. I opened to my beloved, but my beloved had withdrawn himself and was gone. And he was gone. My soul failed when he spake. I sought him, but I could not find him. I called him, but he gave me no answer. That doesn't sound too good. The watchmen that went about the city found me. They smote me. They wounded me. The keepers of the walls took away my veil from me. I charge you, O daughters of Jerusalem, if ye find my beloved, that ye tell him that I am sick of love. I've had a lot more than my 4 wives tell me that. I charge you, O daughters of Jerusalem, if you find my beloved, that ye tell him that I am sick of love. I guess maybe she got tired of waiting in line. I don't know. Why is thy beloved more than another beloved, O thou fairest of women? Why is thou beloved more than another beloved, that thou dost so charge us? My beloved is white and ruddy, the chiefest among 10,000. His head is as the most fine gold. His locks are bushy and black as a raven. His eyes are as the eyes of doves by the rivers of waters, washed with milk and fitly set. At least they didn't wash them with wine and milk. His cheeks are as a bed of spices, as sweet as flowers. His lips are like lilies, dropping sweet smelling myrrh. His, his hands are as gold rings set with the beryl. His belly is as bright ivory overlaid with sapphires. That sound that kind of makes me sound like Shakespeare, doesn't it? His legs are as pillars of marble, set upon sockets of fine gold. His countenance is as Lebanon, excellent as the cedars. His mouth is most sweet. Yea, he is altogether lovely. This is my beloved, and this is my friend, O daughters of Jerusalem. Whither is thy beloved gone, O thou fairest among women? Whither is thy beloved turned aside, that we may seek him with thee? My beloved is gone down into his garden, to the beds of spices, to feed in the gardens, and to gather lilies. Oh, her beloved is gathering lilies. I am my beloved's, and my beloved is mine. He feedeth among the lilies. I've eaten a lot of places, but never among the lilies that I was picking. Thou art beautiful, O my love, as Tirzah, comely as Jerusalem, terrible as an army with banners. Turn away thine eyes from me, for they have overcome me. Thy hair is as a flock of goats that appear from Gilead. Thy teeth are as a flock of sheep which go up from the washing, whereof every one beareth twins, and there is not one barren among them. Goodness gracious. Maybe he shouldn't go up for a washing very often. Whereof everyone beareth twins, and none of those are barren. Goodness gracious. I forget to plan on how to provide enough toilets for 1,001. If every one of them is, what do they say? If every one of them is not barren, and some of them got twins, we're gonna need 4,000 or 5,000 toilets, and a table big enough for 4,000 or 5,000, or I just maybe 1,000. A table big enough for 1,000 plus 4,000 or 5,000. What are those high chairs or whatever you call them for kids? As a piece of pomegranates are thy temples within thy locks. There are 60 queens, that's 60 queens, fourscore, that's 80 concubines, and virgins without number. Well, I guess we're not going to have as many kid count as what I was thinking, because the virgins are without number. My dove, my undefiled, is but one. She is the only one of her mother. She is the choice one of her that beareth her. The daughters saw her and blessed her, yea, the queens and the concubines, and they praised her. Who is she that looketh forth as the morning, fair as the moon, clear as the sun, and terrible as an army with banners? I went down into the garden of nuts. I think they lived in the garden of nuts. I went down into the garden of nuts to see the fruits of the valley, and to see whether the vine flourished and the pomegranates budded. Or ever I was aware, my soul made me like the chariots of Amenadiab. Return, return, O Shulamite, return, return, that we may look upon thee. What will ye see in the Shulamite? As it were the company of two armies. How beautiful are thy feet with shoes. I reckon if they're running around barefooted, their feet aren't pretty. But if they got shoes on, their feet are beautiful. Oh, princess daughter, the juice, not the juices. That one was a mistake. The joints of thy thighs are like jewels, the work of the hands of a cunning workman. Thy navel is like a round goblet, which wanteth not liquor. I'm not even going to ask. Thy belly, thy belly is like a heap of wheat set about with lilies. Thy two breasts are like two young roes that are twins. Thy neck is as a tower of ivory, thine eyes like the fish pools in Heshbon. I don't ever tell your wife or girlfriend or any female that her eyes are like fish bowls. I would not recommend that, or fish pools. By the gate of Bethrabim, thy nose, oh God, for sure don't tell them this. Thy nose is as the tower of Lebanon, which looketh toward Damascus. The women are very sensitive about their nose, the size of their nose. I told, when I lived in England, one of my many girlfriends over there, she was a smoker, smoked cigarettes. And I told her, I said, you know, you could smoke a cigarette in the rain and your nose is so long it would protect your cigarette so it didn't get wet. She didn't like that too much. So I learned, you don't tell women anything about their nose. And there's something else I told others too. I was joking, but a lot of them didn't take it as a joke. I told one of them that her nose stuck out further than her boobs did. She didn't like that. Thy nose is as the tower of Lebanon, which looketh toward Damascus. Thy head is upon thee, thine head upon thee is like Carmel, and the hair of thine head like purple. I had a girlfriend with purple hair one time. The king is held in the galleries. How fair and how pleasant art thou, O love, for delights. This thy stature is like to a palm tree, and thy breast to clusters of grapes. I said, I will go up to the palm tree, I will take hold of the boughs thereof. Now also thy breast shall be as clusters of the vine, and smell of thy nose like apples, and the roof of thy mouth like the best wine for my beloved, that goeth down sweetly, causing the lips of those that are asleep to speak. I am my beloved's, and his desire is toward me. Come, my beloved, let us go forth into the field, and let us lodge in the villages. Let us get up early to the vineyards. Let us see if the vine flourish, whether the tender grape appear, and the pomegranates bud forth, there will I give thee my loves. The mandrakes give a smell, and at our gates are all manner of pleasant fruits, new and old, which I have laid up for thee, O my beloved. O that thou wert my brother, that sucked the breast of my mother. When I should find thee without, I would kiss thee. They were strange people. Yea, I should not be despised. I would lead thee and bring thee into my mother's house, who would instruct me. I would cause thee to drink of spiced wine, of the juice of my pomegranate. His left hand should be under my head, and his right hand should embrace me. I charge you, O daughters of Jerusalem, that ye stir not up, nor awake my love, until he please. Who is this that cometh up from the wilderness, leaning upon her beloved? I raised thee up under the apple tree. There thy mother brought thee forth. There she brought thee forth that bare thee. Set me as a seal upon thine heart, as a seal upon thine arm. For love is as strong as death. I cannot vouch for that one because I hadn't been there yet. Jealousy is cruel as the grave, the coals thereof, or coals of fire, which hath a most vehement flame. Many waters cannot quench love, neither can a flood drown it. If a man would give all the substance of this house for love, it would utterly be contemned. We have a little sister, and she hath no breasts. What shall we do for our sister in the day when she shall be spoken for? Tell you what they do today. They tell her to identify as a male. Isn't that some messed up stuff, y'all? I can't believe the situations this world is in now. You know, the stuff going on now, the people in Noah's day could not have imagined of. Ain't no way. And they didn't have social media to spread it all over the world. If she be a wall, we will build upon her a palace of silver, and if she be a door, we will enclose her with boards of cedar. I am a wall. I may have to retract what I just said about they wasn't as wacky back then as they are now. I hadn't heard anybody yet that said they were a wall. Anyway, the next verse, I am a wall, and my breasts like towers. Then was I in his eyes as one that found favor. Solomon had a vineyard at Belaman. He let out the vineyard unto the keepers, every one for the fruit thereof was to bring 1,000 pieces of silver. My vineyard which is mine is before me. Thou, O Solomon, must have 1,000, and those that keep the fruit thereof 200. That thou dwellest in the gardens, the companions hearken to thy voice, cause me to hear it. Make haste, my beloved, and be thou like to a roe or to a young hart upon the mountain of spices. So, bam, y'all. I hope God forgives me for my stupidity and foolishness. But parts of the Bible are just funny. The times back then, the times now, and in many ways they're a lot alike, but in a lot of ways they are nowhere near alike. It's almost like Martians versus Earthlings. And I think we're the Martians. Anyway, y'all, that's it. And I don't know how long I talked. I talked a long time. And that was 4 short chapters. I did a lot of jaw flapping today, didn't I? God bless y'all. I am going to try to have a, what do you call it? A marathon of psalm readings today. But you know what I'm thinking about doing first? There's a gas station over here. This whole town is like 5 or 6 blocks wide, east to west, and probably 20, 24 north to south. It's a little town. My grocery store and pharmacy and hardware store is like 7 to 11 blocks from my house. Anyway, back over yonder, back toward the south side of the 20 to 24 blocks going north and south, there's a gas station slash convenience store slash restaurant. And when I first got here, October 2021, I had rented a U-Haul trailer. I had given away just about everything I owned because I was going to move to Spain. And then I changed my mind about moving to Spain. And so everything I owned at that time was in the smallest U-Haul trailer that they make. And most of that was my clothes. You know, some of Callie's stuff, her pet carriers, and I don't know, just stuff. I did keep some of my small tools. All my electric power tools I gave away. Anyway, that gas station slash convenience store slash restaurant was also the U-Haul dealer here in town. And y'all in other parts of the world that are not familiar with U-Haul, it's a trailer company that rents trailers, and you can travel all over the country with them, and you pick them up near your home and you drop them off at a U-Haul center near where you are finished with it at. So I rented one in Texas, loaded my stuff up. I had two girlfriends that helped me load it, and they didn't know each other. I was just hoping that they didn't come to help me at the same time, and they didn't. But anyway, I came up here and took it to that place to unload it, and found out they had breakfast. And so I went in there and ate breakfast. And the first people I met in this town was right there while I was eating breakfast, and it was a bunch of old men, probably 10, 11, 12 old men. I'm talking about older than me. They were ancient old men. And they had 3 tables, or 3 booths. You know, a booth with a seat on one side and a seat on one side and a tabletop down the middle. They had 3 of them backed up, and that's all they had. Well, no, the convenience store part has, I think, 2 of them, but I never go in there. But anyway, the part where I was at, I sat down one morning and ate with them and just had a good time talking with them. And I went back every day for 2 or 3 months, and then I got moved into my house and started cooking my own breakfast and putting stuff up. I bought everything new, so I was shopping and putting stuff away and hanging stuff on walls and hanging curtains and doing all that stuff. But I think I'm going to go there and have breakfast. They had a sign hanging on the wall where those three booths were. It says, uh, old men only. And I'm still nowhere near their age. I think they're almost old enough to be my dad. But it's fun sitting there talking to them. I, last year, I told them, or the year before last, I told them that I like to fish and asked if there's any place nearby to fish. Down in Texas, I lived on the Gulf Coast, so I fished in the Gulf Coast. Well, there ain't no coast up here. They said there's a big lake at the southwest corner of town, right over yonder. And actually, as the crow flies from here to there, it's just like a half a mile. But to get there by road, it's like 2 miles. And it's a beautiful lake. And this winter, for the first time in my life, I saw a frozen lake. I've never seen a frozen lake except in pictures before. A woman, when I broke my leg, that's what it was. She took me to the grocery store and to the pharmacy in her truck. And she asked me if I wanted to see the lake. I said, sure, why not? You know, nothing else I can do but follow her around like a little puppy. So she drove out by the lake and it was frozen. I have never seen a frozen lake before. And it wasn't just an inch or two. I think it was deep. Anyway, back what got me started down that rabbit hole, back in 2021 when I moved here, I was talking to the old men at the gas station slash convenience store slash restaurant, cafe, whatever, about fishing, and they told me about this lake over here. And it's a beautiful lake. The grounds around it are always kept manicured, and they have picnic tables with roofs over them and so forth, barbecue grills and such as that. They said, and one of those old men looked at me, and they knew I was cold because I'm not used to this kind of cold weather. And one of these old men laughed at me. He said, in the wintertime, and it wasn't winter yet. I got here in October. It was cold already, but it wasn't winter. Maybe it was just the edge. I don't remember when winter starts. Anyway, he said, when the ice freezes, I'll take you down to the lake and teach you how to ice fish. I said, no, you won't. I said, when it gets that cold, I'm going to be hibernating inside. And I've never fished. I've got a Kansas fishing license. I got all the fishing gear, which I had to buy new, and I did save my fishing gear, but what I had is 50-foot long poles for casting way out into the Gulf of Mexico. And here you just need a short little Mickey Mouse fishing pole. I used to have a big boat, a big 22-foot robalo. I could go 20 miles out in the Gulf of Mexico. It was too big, too much work. I had it 3 or 4 years and sold it. Anyway, I've talked way too much. God bless you, friends. I love y'all.